On today's video, I'm going to share with you my experience in starting your very first podcast. Coming up. Hello everyone, my name is James Martin. Welcome to Magic Cut Media and Promotion. We're here to teach you how to create your own videos easily so that you can add more value back to your customers. And the reason why we believe in this is because when you add value back to your customers, it's going to help attract the right clientele for you, help you build up that trust with your customers, and eventually convert more sales. Today, I want to share with you my experience in starting my very first podcast. I do believe that podcast can be a great form of content to bring value back to your customers. This could apply to almost any business, and you can create your own. And you know what? Podcasts are actually hugely underrated right now. I get this great piece of advice from Pat Flynn. I'll link his YouTube channel down in the description. Pat Flynn is a proactive YouTuber, but a very huge podcaster. If you go on iTunes and search up business or entrepreneur, chances are in the top 10, you'll find him. One of the things that he says is,
there are over 500 million active YouTube channels. Does that sound about right? Yep. Like a lot. There's less than 1 million podcasts right now.
So I definitely think there's a lot of value in creating and starting your own podcast. And so I want to share with you some advice on what was it like creating my very first podcast, which was called The I Can Show. And this ran from October 2018 until May of 2019. All right. And if you want to check that out, I'll also link the iTunes link, the Spotify link, and all the links associated with the I Can Show podcast down below so you can check it out for yourself. But here are some of the things that I've learned. So number one, understand that it's going to be very slow at the start, but it does gradually build up. So what do I mean by this? First, when you start your podcast, you're going to have very few followers, or at least you're not going to have as many followers and listeners as you might like to. That's because you're starting out new. Everyone's getting to know this, right? It's about getting the word out and also building up that trust that everyone knows the type of content that you're building up. Everyone knows the value and the transition that they're going to get back from listening to your podcast episode. All right. I noticed that for me, within the first couple months, I probably got maybe a couple downloads per episode. But after 6 months, I had almost 500 downloads across 21 episodes. It does build up, and you start finding that you're getting dozens and dozens more downloads per episode as soon as I start getting into 2019. So you keep going, and the longer you put at it, the more that's going to start a snowball effect, and you're going to get more downloads and more downloads and more downloads. Tip number 2 that I really highly recommend is listen to feedback. Listen to feedback, especially from your audience, but listen to other people. What do they like? What kind of episodes do they like listening to? Remember, there are tons of other podcasters, really well-known podcasters out there. Why do they like listening to these other podcasters? You know, whether it's Joe Rogan, whether it's the guy I just mentioned, Pat Flynn, why do they like listening to these people, right? And always adjust and always keep evolving your content and make it better and better and better. Feedback is huge. That's why I love posting on social media. It gives me great feedback. The third tip that I found is you need to post consistently. Whether this is daily, whether it's weekly, or once a month, you need to let your audience know when you're going to show up. There needs to be an expectancy. There were times, and this is one of the reasons why I had to stop my podcast, is because times got really, really busy. I wasn't able to commit to a weekly upload like I was enjoying. But when I was committing to a weekly upload, it was a lot easier to get people to listen and expect when the next episode was coming out. So you got to find a system that works for you. Whether, again, it's daily, weekly, monthly, bi-weekly. Find the time of day that works for you. Find the system that works for you. I usually did a Monday morning. That just seemed right to me. And just make sure that you really commit to that every single time. Tip number 4, add value. What you have to understand is your podcast episode is a show. Why do people like listening to a show? It's either for educational purposes or for entertainment, right? A lot of people love entertainment. One of the reasons why my show got extremely popular with a lot of different people is because it was motivational and educational at the same time. The motivation was sort of that entertainment factor, so I was able to add two forms of value, the entertainment and the education, right? Your show needs to have some form of value. It's not just a sales platform. It's more of what you're going to give to your audience. If it's just sales, I'm telling you, you're going to lose followers. You're going to lose views and downloads. It needs to be giving back to someone, whether it's funny, motivational, fun, educational, something. It needs to give back. And my last tip, keep going. Again, I posted 21 episodes across 8 months, and I got almost 500 downloads. Right? It's going to get bigger. You're going to get more downloads as the time progresses. So please don't get discouraged within the first few months. Really just keep going and going and going and going. You need to commit. So please don't give up. Just keep going. And remember, I said listen for feedback, because someone's also going to say, I love listening to your episodes. I listened to several of them and they really inspired me, right? Or they made me laugh, or I got a good education, right? So please keep going, never stop. You're doing a really big benefit to your crowd. And that's it. I hope this video brought value to you. And if it did, please smash that like button. And also consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a single upload. Every week we post a tip or a tactic video to help you create videos easily to add more value to your customers. Question of the day. If you were to start a podcast, what kind of podcast would you present? What would your show be about? Present your ideas in the comments below, and I'll join in the discussion. And remember, let's start some brainstorming. Your idea could also spin off another idea for someone else. Let's get some creative juices flowing down in the comment section. All right? So best of luck. I hope you test out that podcast, and I will see you next time.